Have you ever wondered what makes Australian culture so unique and diverse? The roots of Australian culture trace back to the ancient Aboriginal culture, the oldest living culture on Earth. For over 65,000 years, Aboriginal people have inhabited the continent of Australia, cultivating a rich tapestry of traditions, beliefs, and artistic expressions that continue to influence the country's identity. Central to Aboriginal culture is their deep spiritual connection to the land, which is not only their home, but also their custodian, their ancestor, and their identity. This bond with the land forms the basis of their spiritual beliefs, encapsulated in what is known as the Dream Time. The Dream Time is a complex network of stories, ceremonies, and knowledge that connects every aspect of Aboriginal life to the land, the sky, and the water. The Dreamtime stories, passed down through generations, are the Aboriginal people's way of understanding the world around them. These stories often explain natural phenomena, the creation of landscapes, and the laws of their community. They are not merely fables or myths, but a vital part of the Aboriginal worldview, shaping their laws, their morality, and their sense of identity. Aboriginal art, including rock art and bark painting, is another fundamental aspect of their culture. These art forms are not merely aesthetic, they are a conduit for passing on the Dreamtime stories, for recording history, and for expressing the Aboriginal people's deep spiritual connection to the land. The intricate patterns, vibrant colors, and symbolic imagery found in Aboriginal art are a testament to this culture's profound creativity and spiritual depth. The Aboriginal culture, with its emphasis on community, spirituality, and respect for the land, has had an enduring impact on Australian society. It has shaped the way Australians think about their environment, their history, and their place in the world. This ancient culture, with its deep roots and rich traditions, has laid the foundation for what would become the diverse Australian culture we know today. Fast forward several thousand years to the late 18th century, a time of great change for the Australian continent. As we move through the annals of history, we arrive in the late 1700s, a time when the first European settlers set foot on Australian shores. The British, initially seeking a penal colony, found a land of potential and opportunity. This marked the beginning of a new chapter in the history of Australia, the era of British colonization. The arrival of the Europeans was a turning point for the indigenous Aboriginal people. Their lives were irrevocably altered as they grappled with the sudden influx of foreigners. The Europeans brought with them diseases, to which the Aboriginal people had no immunity, leading to a sharp decline in their population. Yet, the Europeans also brought with them their language, religion, and architectural style, which significantly influenced the fabric of Australian society. English became the common tongue, uniting the continent under a single language. The Christian faith seeped into the spiritual life of the country, adding a new dimension to Australia's religious landscape. The architectural prowess of the Europeans was evident in the buildings that began to spring up. They introduced the Gothic Revival style, characterized by pointed arches, ribbed vaults, and flying buttresses. The architectural landscape of Australia was transformed, with the European style blending seamlessly with the unique Australian environment to create a distinctive aesthetic. However, it's crucial to remember that the Aboriginal culture was not supplanted by European influence. Instead, it continued to thrive and evolve, coexisting with the new elements introduced by the Europeans. This amalgamation of cultures created a unique blend that is quintessentially Australian. The arrival of the Europeans was indeed a period of upheaval and transformation. It was a time when the Australian continent was reshaped and redefined, forever changing its cultural and social dynamics. The European influence added another layer to the evolving Australian culture, making it a rich tapestry of diverse traditions and practices. The European influence added another layer to the evolving Australian culture. The mid-19th century brought a new wave of change to Australia, a golden wave. As gold was discovered in several regions, the Australian gold rush began, transforming the continent in ways beyond imagination. This period was not just about the pursuit of wealth, but about people from various corners of the globe converging on this vast land, each bringing a piece of their culture with them. As news of the gold finds spread, Australia became a beacon for adventurers and fortune seekers. From Europe, Asia, and America, they arrived, armed with dreams and determination. Each new arrival added a layer to the cultural fabric of Australia, making it a vibrant tapestry of traditions, languages, and customs. One of the most significant cultural influences during this period was from China. Thousands of Chinese miners made the perilous journey to Australia, drawn by the allure of gold. They brought with them their culinary traditions, their architectural aesthetics, and their work ethics, all of which left a lasting impact on Australian society. Imagine walking down the streets of Melbourne or Sydney and being greeted by the tantalizing aroma of Chinese food, of dumplings and noodles wafting from the kitchens. Picture the Chinese-inspired architecture, the pagoda-style roofs and intricate designs that added an exotic flair to the Australian towns. These Chinese immigrants, like their counterparts from other parts of the world, worked hard under challenging conditions. They faced cultural barriers, language differences, and often discrimination. But they persevered, contributing not just to the goldfields, but to the society and culture of Australia. Their legacy is visible today in the multiculturalism that is a cornerstone of Australian identity. The gold rush was more than a quest for wealth. It was a transformative era that brought together people from diverse backgrounds, creating a melting pot of cultures. It was a period of growth, of change, and of cultural exchange. And so, the gold rush era further enriched the Australian culture, making it more diverse and vibrant. The golden wave of the mid-19th century washed over Australia, leaving in its wake a multicultural society that continues to thrive and evolve. As we move into the 20th century, two world wars had a profound impact on Australia. The First and Second World Wars shook the world to its core, and Australia was no exception. Over 300,000 Australians served overseas during these wars, and their experiences left an indelible mark on the country's identity. The wars fostered a sense of unity and national pride, and they also brought about significant changes in the nation's society and culture. However, the war's impact extended beyond the battlefield. The aftermath of the Second World War in particular sparked a wave of migration that would forever change the face of Australia. The devastation in Europe led many to seek a new life in distant lands, and Australia, with its promise of opportunity and prosperity, became a beacon of hope. From the late 40s to the early 70s, more than 2 million migrants arrived in Australia. These newcomers hailed from a wide range of countries, but the majority came from Italy, Greece, and later from Asia and the Middle East. This influx of diverse cultures brought about a significant shift in the Australian way of life. The influence of these migrants permeated every aspect of society. Italian and Greek migrants, for instance, introduced new flavors to the Australian palate, transforming the country's culinary scene. They brought with them traditional recipes, ingredients, and cooking methods, and today, dishes like pasta, souvlaki, and espresso are staples of Australian cuisine. Moreover, this migration wave also enriched the country's linguistic landscape. Australia is now home to speakers of over 200 languages, including Italian, Greek, Vietnamese, and Arabic. This linguistic diversity has added a new layer of complexity and richness to the Australian identity. But perhaps the most important impact of post-war migration was on Australian society itself. It fostered a spirit of inclusivity and multiculturalism that is now a fundamental part of the Australian ethos. Post-war migration turned Australia into a multicultural melting pot. This shift, brought about by the trials of war and the hope of a new life, has shaped Australia into the vibrant, diverse, and inclusive nation that it is today. In the 21st century, Australia is a vibrant, multicultural society with a unique lifestyle. A land where the ancient traditions blend seamlessly with modern influences, creating a rich tapestry of experiences that define the Australian way of life. Indeed, sports play a crucial role in this lifestyle. Australian Football League, known more fondly as AFL, and cricket are not just games, they're events that bring together communities, families, and friends. Whether it's a sunny weekend at the Melbourne Cricket Ground or a local footy match in the park, these sports are woven into the social fabric of Australia. Then there's the beach culture. With over 7,000 beaches dotting the coastline, Australians have a deep-seated love for the sun, surf, and sand. It's a place for relaxation, socialization, and of course, the iconic surf life-saving clubs. Australia has made the beach more than just a geographical feature, it's an integral part of their identity. And what's an Australian gathering without a barbecue? Be it a family get-together, a friendly neighborhood catch-up, or a celebration of national significance, the aroma of sizzling snags on the barbie is a quintessential part of the Aussie experience. It's not just about food, it's about camaraderie, community, and connection. Australia's love for the outdoors extends beyond sports and barbecues. National parks, bushwalks, camping trips, these are all common activities that reflect Australians' respect and appreciation for nature's beauty. But it's not all about the great outdoors. Australia's thriving arts scene is a testament to its cultural richness, from internationally acclaimed films and world-class theatre productions to a diverse music scene that spans from rock to classical. Australia's artistic contributions are as varied as its landscapes. In essence, the modern Australian lifestyle is a melting pot of experiences. It's about community and connection, a love for nature, a passion for sports, an appreciation of the arts, and above all, a spirit of inclusivity and diversity. Modern Australia is a reflection of its diverse history, a mix of ancient traditions and modern influences. But what truly defines Australian culture? Let's delve into the quintessential Australian spirit, a spirit that permeates the country from its red desert heart to its coastal fringes. To understand Australia, one must first grasp the concept of mateship. This term, deeply entrenched in the Australian psyche, extends beyond friendship. It symbolizes solidarity, equality, and mutual respect. Mateship is about standing side by side, sharing life's trials and tribulations, and always having each other's backs. It's a bond forged in the harsh outback, on the sporting field, and in the bustling streets of Sydney and Melbourne. Now let's talk about the Australian sense of humor. It's dry, ironic, and often self-deprecating. Aussies love a good laugh, and they're not afraid to poke fun at themselves. This humor is a coping mechanism, a way to lighten the mood and deal with adversity. It's a hallmark of the Australian spirit, showcasing their resilience and ability to find joy in the simplest things. And then there's the fair go attitude. It's a belief in giving everyone an equal opportunity, regardless of their background or circumstances. It's about providing a level playing field, a chance for everyone to succeed. This attitude is deeply ingrained in the Australian ethos and is reflected in their policies and social interactions. At the core of the Australian spirit is the importance of community. Australians understand that they're part of something larger than themselves. They believe in lending a hand, in helping their neighbors, in supporting those less fortunate. This spirit of community, of looking out for one another, is what binds Australians together. These elements, mateship, humor, a fair go, and community, paint a vivid picture of the Australian spirit. They encapsulate what it means to be Australian, showcasing a culture that's both unique and endearing. The Australian spirit, with its emphasis on mateship and fairness, is at the heart of Australian culture. From ancient Aboriginal traditions to modern multicultural influences, Australian culture is a rich tapestry. This vibrant tapestry we've journeyed through has been woven together over thousands of years, each thread representing a unique aspect of the country's diverse history. Let's take a moment to reflect on the key elements that have contributed to the intricate design of Australian culture. The roots of this culture run deep, grounded in the ancient traditions of the Aboriginal people. Their stories, art, and spiritual beliefs have been the foundation of Australia's cultural identity, painting the first strokes on the canvas of the country's history. Then, the arrival of the Europeans in the late 18th century added a new dimension to this canvas. The colonization brought about a fusion of cultures, a blending of indigenous traditions with European customs, practices, and languages. This period of history not only brought about change, but also left an indelible mark on Australia's cultural landscape. The Gold Rush era was another pivotal chapter in the country's history. It was a time of hope, ambition, and transformation. The influx of people from around the world in search of fortune not only brought economic prosperity, but also a kaleidoscope of cultural influences that further enriched the Australian tapestry. The World Wars and the post-war migration period were significant in shaping Australia's modern identity. The challenges of the wars fostered a spirit of resilience and mateship, while the post-war migration brought a wave of diverse cultures, forever changing the face of Australian society. The modern Australian lifestyle is a testament to this rich history. Today, Australia is a multicultural nation, celebrating a wide array of cultures, cuisines, and traditions. The country's unique blend of ancient Indigenous heritage, colonial history, and contemporary multicultural influences creates a cultural environment unlike any other. In the heart of this diverse society, the Australian spirit shines bright. It is a spirit of resilience, camaraderie, and a fair go for all. It's the spirit that binds Australians together, regardless of their backgrounds or beliefs. This spirit, rooted in the country's history, is an essential thread in the rich tapestry of Australian culture. In essence, understanding Australian culture is not just about appreciating its diversity or recognizing its historical milestones. It is about acknowledging the journey that has led to the creation of this unique society. It is about honoring the ancient traditions of the Aboriginal people, recognizing the influences of European colonization, appreciating the transformative power of the gold rush, acknowledging the impacts of the world wars and post-war migration, and celebrating the multicultural influences that shape the modern Australian lifestyle. Understanding Australian culture is like journeying through time, witnessing the evolution of a unique and diverse society that has been thousands of years in the making.